afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. As an organization committed to advancing world understanding, goodwill, and peace, Rotary recognizes the United Nations International Day of Peace on this Sunday, September 21st, as an opportunity to inspire acts of peace and friendship. The theme for 2025, Act Now for a Peaceful World, reminds us that everyone can do something to build peace and prevent conflict. Our International Committee has asked that before our invocation and national anthem, we have a moment of silence reflecting on what each of us can do to help make peace in the world, in the community, and in our everyday lives. Thank you. Giving our invocation today is Crystal Galvan, co-CEO and Managing Director, Galvan Strategy Group, and a member of the International Committee, followed by Board Member Harriet Harrell, Principal, the Harrell Group, leading us in the National Anthem. Crystal.
Thank you, Madam President. As a member of the International Committee, it is my honor to be here to give our invocation today as we recognize the International Day of Prayer and Peace. Let us pray. Lord, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, let us pardon. Where there is doubt, let us have faith. Where there is despair, give us hope. Where there is darkness, bring light. And where there is sadness, fill it with joy. Grant that we may not seek so much to be consoled, but to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love, for it is in giving that we receive, and it is in forgiving that we are forgiven. May we continue to live our lives being a testament to peace, service, and goodwill, and may our work in Rotary and our lives today going forward reflect this prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Crystal and Harriet. And now welcoming our guest today is Jan Titsworth, who is President, DeCalibron Consulting. Jan.
Thank you, President Ann. Okay, so if we have any visiting Rotarians with us today, will you please stand and let us welcome you? All right, and now for our visitors, visiting Rotarians. So glad you're here. Welcome. Okay, now I've got to make sure I read the names correctly. So for our guests of our members, we have, and please stand as I call your name so that we can recognize you. Ryan Perucci, guest of Ed McLinn. Mame Ephraim, Gustav Akua Ionful. Travis Marable, guest of Don Marable. Chris Chandler, guest of Mark Maurer. Keegan Hand, guest of Christina Judge. Dr. Holiday Bean, guest of Brian Miller. Josh White, guest of Ed McLinn. Scott Armstrong, guest of Bob Mitchell. Mason Buckhold, guest of Ed McLinn. Eric Weisinger, guest of Lauren Weisinger. And Sarah Castillo, guest of Courtney Lewis. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Jan. Last week, we introduced a new feature, Rotarians in the News, and today we want to recognize Fred Rouse III, who was featured in a story on NBC5 earlier this month. The city of Fort Worth has approved more than $200,000 to complete funding for the Fred Rouse Memorial on Fort Worth's North Side, which is in memory of our Fred's grandfather. If you missed the piece, please check the NBC5 website and learn more about the significance of the memorial and about Fred's grandfather. Fred, congratulations on your tenacity in bringing the memorial to fruition. And now, please join me in saying the four-way test, which guides Rotarians throughout the world in what we think, say, and do. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And now it brings me great joy to introduce Kathy Neese Brown, Senior Director of Development, College of Nursing, UNT Health, who will bring joy to all of us as we build better friendships through laughter, at her take on the latest news. And just remember, we are celebrating International Day of Peace, which includes goodwill toward newscasters. Kathy.
Oh, the love, I love it. Okay, good afternoon, Rotarians and Mavericks fans. I'm honored to be here today and promise to keep this brief, biting, and just barely bipartisan. Let's start with the national mood. Engaging in political discourse in America right now feels like starring in a film written by Stephen King, directed by Quentin Tarantino, with a soundtrack by Yoko Ono. It's terrifying, violent, and somehow still off-key. Even Jimmy Kimmel weighed in this week, asking for prayers after a tragic death in Utah, saying, "God bless Robert Redford." A Pennsylvania man is suing Smartwater for not making him smart. I would like to formally announce my lawsuit against Thin Mints. In sports, the Dallas Cowboys are 1-1, which means we're halfway to heartbreak. They signed Javadian Clowney, lost their starting center, and mourned the passing of legend D.D. Lewis, who famously said that Texas Stadium had a hole in the roof so God could watch his favorite team. God, however, has since switched to pickleball. The Mavericks traded Luka Doncic, missed the playoffs, and still somehow won the draft lottery to pick Cooper Flagg. That's like losing your wallet, getting hit by a bus, and waking up to find out you won the Powerball. At this point, Dallas fans don't need therapy. They need a loyalty punch card. Buy 5 heartbreaks, get 1 miracle free. I warned him that yes. Michael Vick got his first win as a head coach at Norfolk State. Please tell me their mascot isn't the Bulldogs. That would be too poetic. Texas A&M beat Notre Dame by 1 point, and now ESPN, go Aggies. ESPN says they have a 47% chance of making the playoffs. That's Aggie math for you. 1 miracle win plus 2 transfer receivers plus 13 penalties equals a national title dream. Honestly, if Marcel Reed throws one more last-second touchdown, College Station might rename Kyle Field to Miracle Stadium. Meanwhile, high school football is in full swing. Selena beat Gunter, Allen dropped 70 points like it was a clearance sale, and South Lake Carroll continues to play like their booster club has a direct line to Nick Saban. As homecoming rolls in and the final Iron Skillet game kicks off, TCU and SMU aren't just battling for bragging rights. They're closing the books on a century of Southwest Conference drama. SMU's heading to the ACC. Dallas is already drafting a press release, and Fort Worth Fort Worth is just bringing the skillet. And if history's any guide, Amon G. Carter wouldn't just serve it hot. He'd serve it with a side of NCAA paperwork. Come on, the death penalty, help me here. I'm almost done. Because let's be honest, when it comes to football scandals, Dallas doesn't just go big, it goes on probation. That was a good one, I know. So as we sit here in the heart of Texas, surrounded by business leaders and basketball royalty, let's remember, the world is weird, the news is weirder, and the only thing stranger than reality is trying to make sense of it. Thank you and go Mavs, because at least they're not the Cowboys.
Thank you, Kathy. Nothing like the First Amendment. We have some announcements today. First up is James Emmons, partner, Seton Hill Partners, who has some news about the Crazy Pants Golf Tournament. And he will be followed by our wild and crazy duo, Ed Macklin, insurance consultant, Champion Commercial Insurance, and Brenda Beveridge, Director of Development, Texas Ballet Theater, with not one but two social opportunities. James?
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon to all, and fellow Rotarians out there. I know all of you guys are out practicing your golf games, getting ready for the October 20 event, but I need to encourage every Rotarian here, as well as anyone that's not here that you know of that's a Rotarian, to sign up and participate in this year's event. As you all know, the beneficiaries of this great event are the veterans that are housed at the James L. West Center for Dementia Care. And they have a need over there in a big way. So our goal was veterans, so we chose that group because they're in trouble. So any of you that are veterans know how important that is. The VA limits what they can do and what they can pay for. So they're always at a shortfall of funding, so we can step up and help. So far, we're doing very well with our sponsorships. We have a great title sponsor. As you guys know, there are also Rotarians, Autobahn. Our team here has been a great help for us. But we need the Rotarians to really step up. If you don't want to play golf, you don't have to. It's not a golf event. This is something for the Rotarians, the community, and the veterans at James L. West. There are several events for which you can participate. You can be a sponsor, which we'd love to have you. You can be a whole sponsor. You can also put in a team, but you can also come and mix and mingle at the end of the tournament. We're going to have heavy hors d'oeuvres. We're going to have cocktails or Coca-Colas or beer, whatever you like. Come and congregate and be with your fellow Rotarians. And then that's not very expensive. It's only $50, but we'd love to have you. So if Ann will let me, I'll come and talk to you every Friday about this between now and then. So thank you for your attention and for your sponsorships and help. Thank you.
Both of us.
Okay, both of us.
Good afternoon, fellow
fellow
Rotarians
Rotarians
and
and
guests. Brenda, I believe you had a question?
Ed, what's going on with the social committee this week?
Brenda, I am so glad you asked that. As a matter of fact, the social committee has not one, but two events coming up. Since you like to talk, why don't you tell everyone about one of them?
I did not read that far into the script. Ed, I am so glad you asked that. Please join us for the opening night of the Texas Ballet Theater's performance of Peter Pan at Bass Hall on Friday, October 3rd. The ballet is offering a discounted tickets, a VIP intermission soiree, which includes signature drinks in the green room, and a sneak peek at Mary Martin Peter Pan's memorabilia collection. This should be amazing. The flyers are on your table. Ed, what else does the social committee have going on?
Let's see. I'm so glad you asked that. Put on your hat and boots and saddle up your horse or your SUV, because Rotary is heading to the stockyards. Next Tuesday, September 23rd, we're having a Rotary after hours at the Side Saddle Saloon from 5:30 to 7:30. This one will be easy, no charge to attend. Both drinks and snacks are on your own. Side Saddle has great specials. However, get this, you can park for free in the stockyards. That's not very common. And there's a code on the screen, and it's also in the rotograph, I believe, and on the, well, we don't have any flyers today on that one, but it will be another amazing Rotary social event. They have lots of happy hour specials, so cowboy up and come to the Side Saddle Saloon on Tuesday, the 23rd. Register using the QR code on the screen. And this sounds right up your alley. Brenda, are you going to bring your cowboy husband?
I just might, Ed. Thank you so much for asking.
And she might still wear Peter Pan green as well.
I might wear Peter Pan green, yes.
All right. Well, we
look forward to
seeing everyone at the Side Saddle Saloon on the 23rd and at Bass Hall for Peter Pan on October 3rd.
Woo!
Back to you, President Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you, James, Ed, and Brenda. You know, rumor has it that Brenda is actually going to be Peter Pan. Is that right? Oh, sorry, I think that was supposed to be a surprise. The good news here just keeps getting better today as Board Secretary Karen Telshaw Johnson, owner and principal of Telshaw Johnson Law, has 4 second readings that are ready for a vote by the membership. Karen?
Thank you, President Ann. All right, so number 1. Let's get this up. There we go. Okay, it's stopped. All right. John Hernandez, Title VP, Trust Relationship Manager, Company First Financial Trust, Classification, Banking and Finance, Proposer, Aubrey Gideon. I move his election, subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The new member is welcome.
Number 2, Keegan Hand, Chief Development Officer, Lena Pope, Classification Nonprofit, Child and Family Services, Proposer Christina Judge. I move her election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
I have a motion. Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? The new member is welcome. We're glad you're here today, too, and glad that went over well.
All right. Number 3, Ryan Perucci, Global Sales Agent, Briggs Freeman Sotheby International Realty, Real Estate, Proposer Ed McLinn. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? Ryan is welcomed as a new member.
Last but certainly not least, oh, congratulations, yes, congratulations. We'll have a big round of applause for all of our new members. Expanding our Rotary family is always a good thing. All right, so last, definitely, certainly not least, President of Texas Wesleyan University, Emily Messer, Classification Higher Education, Proposer Gary Stout. I move for election, subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Emily is elected.
Congratulations.
To all of them.
Yes.
As you know, after the second reading and vote to elect new members comes the new member information session, followed by the formal introduction of a new member. Here today to introduce our newest member is past President Mark Nurden, Executive Managing Director of Cadence Bank. Mark.
Thank you, President Ann. It is my privilege today to introduce Andrew Willard. Andrew is a native of Fort Worth, a graduate of Trinity Valley. Andrew is also a graduate of Texas A&M University and is also a graduate of the University of Miami Law School. Andrew is a partner with the firm Cobb, Martinez, and Woodward. He and his wife, Rachel, live here in Fort Worth and have a 7-month-old son, Thomas. Andrew is also on the Campfire First Texas Board of Directors and is very much looking forward to getting involved with the Rotary Club of Fort Worth And most recently, Andrew was named a rising star by Reuters in the legal profession. So congratulations on that, Andrew. Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So Mark told me that everyone likes to have a couple fun facts about the new guy. So I spent all morning racking my brain trying to think of a fun fact and couldn't think of anything. So I asked my wife, is there anything interesting about me that I should say? And she said, I can't think of anything either. So not off to a good start. But no, I grew up in Fort Worth. Fort Worth is my home. I have, in addition to having a 7-month-old son, which has been a great experience, I have 2 dogs, a corgi and a bloodhound. They're named Moose and Goose, which is extremely confusing, but and it wasn't planned that way. I enjoy golfing. I'm not good at it, but I enjoy getting out there, and I'm really looking forward to making connections and meeting everybody here. So thank you for accepting me.
Thank you, Mark, and Andrew, welcome to the club. We're glad you're here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. If you know of other prospective members, be sure and invite them to a meeting and touch base with either Deanna Stewart or Rebecca Montgomery for more information about membership. We are also very fortunate to have some excellent programs, thanks to Mike Herman and the program committee. Thank you, program committee. We appreciate your hard work bringing to the club leaders in industry, education, government, and today, sports. I'm pleased to introduce our chairperson of the day, Mark Maurer, who is principal Hanta Yo Ventures, LLC, who will introduce today's speaker. Mark.
Thank you, President Ann. Pleasure to be here today and introducing our Emmy Award-winning broadcast guest speaker, Brian Damaris. It's Friday, though. It's Friday, September 19th. That's not just Brian Miller's birthday. Where are you, Brian? There we go. Happy birthday. Yep, good for you. In 2 days, it's my wife's birthday. So I invited my brother-in-law, so we got testimony that I've got to get out of here pretty quick and get some gift cards. The day after my wife's birthday, on September 22nd, it's fall. It'll still be 93 degrees, but we're rolling into fall, and all the great things that come with that, including probably week 5 of football, blah, blah, blah. We've got basketball around the corner. We're tipping off, and you couldn't be more excited than I am for 2 weeks from September 22nd, when our guest speaker will be back in town to be the color analyst for the Dallas Mavericks when they are here for the first NBA game at our own Dickies Arena. How great is that? So the first NBA game for Dickies Arena will feature our own Dallas Mavericks, not down the road, but here in Fort Worth. So you're going to want to get on out and get your tickets for that. Brian's going to tell us all about the things we can expect for the 2025-26 championship run. He's been with the Mavs, started the analytics program in 2002, not coincidentally the year I got married, right? So anyway, it's been a great run. It's been a great history. He's seen the good, he's seen the bad, he's seen the traded. We're excited though to have the Mavs in town for that preseason game against the defending champion the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. We're hoping that 15 years after this front page of sports was printed, we're going to get maybe 16. We're going to be able to print another championship front page for the Dallas Mavericks next June. So please welcome me and welcoming Brian Damaris, Emmy Award-winning color analyst, host of Take That With You podcast and pre and post game show, Brian Damaris. Thank you. Glad you're here.
I told him to mention Emmy at least 4 times, so he got that in. I was actually here a few years ago, so fortunately nothing's happened in Mavs world since then, so this should go pretty smoothly. I am going to take questions at the end. I do expect everybody to come up and say hi to me on October 6th at Dickies Arena. It will be the first time that anybody gets to see Cooper Flagg play in an official game. That's not Summer League in Vegas, and it'll be right here in Fort Worth. So we're excited about that. And so that'll be great. And I love the fact that we are expanding that blueprint and doing games like that. Also, James reached out to me afterwards. I played in the Crazy Pants Open several years ago after I spoke, so I want to do that again. And we're in town on that day. So if you'll have me, as Andrew, I'm also not very good, so don't stand to the side of me, but I'll enjoy coming out there. So I am going to talk about the elephant in the room, and I'm going to talk about it in a way that some of the lessons that I've learned in my career that helped me deal with what happened on February 2nd and how we got through that. Because I was in a Cleveland hotel room at 6 a.m. on Sunday, February 2nd, when I had to get up to go to the bathroom, frankly, and my phone was buzzing and buzzing. And I thought something had died. I thought someone in my family had passed away. I thought I had missed a plane flight. I didn't know what was going on. I looked at my phone and I had over 170 text messages and about 36 missed calls. And that was the morning that Luca got traded. And I knew that my life had changed professionally forever. I had voluminous interview requests, and I had to figure out how I was going to handle the biggest challenge of my professional career, and was I up for it? And so I've learned many lessons throughout my 30-year career in technology, media, and sports, and they all helped me meet that moment. So I'm going to outline a few of those lessons for you, and then we're going to get back to that day. I promise we'll get back to February 2nd at 6 a.m. and what happened then. We're also going to talk about the Mavs and Cooper Flag, and I am going to take some questions. But first, we have to go back 31 years to 1994 to a hospital room and to Tanya Harding. And how does that relate? I was in a hospital in Dallas getting continuous IVs because I had migraines so bad that I couldn't even function, and I had to have continuous medication. And it was the week that all the brouhaha between Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan occurred, and I watched all of that unfold in a hospital bed, and that's why I remember that, because it was a low point in my life. I didn't know really what the future held for me. And one of the lessons I learned from that was that today isn't tomorrow, and that I'll get through this, and that I will be able to persevere through the dark times when there would be better times ahead. And that served me well later on in life, and that was something that I remember. And what I realized was that luck is a real thing. But the definition of luck you always hear is preparedness meets opportunity. Well, it's more than that. It's having the skill set to take advantage of the opportunity, having the experience to know what to do, and also recognizing the opportunity when it presents itself. All of those things are in the ingredients for what luck is. And so you only have to be lucky once, but you have to try, and you have to put yourself in that position. I was lucky in 1995 when I met Mark Cuban, and I started working at broadcast.com, which was then called AudioNet, and all it was, and I spoke about this last time I was here, was scratchy AM quality audio on a $5,000 computer. The New York Times in 1996 said, why would you ever buy a computer to listen to something this poorly, when they didn't realize you were going to get everything on demand all the time, anyone you wanted to, on one of these things later on in life. So I got lucky. And then when I changed my career at the age of 45 to go into the media world, I was lucky because they were making some changes, but I had started doing some radio, some post-game on the ticket. I still had a full-time job. But when those opportunities presented themselves, I was able to jump at it and had the skills, relationships, and opportunity to pull that up. So luck is a thing, and as Kathy said, the Mavericks know better than anybody that luck is a thing, as we got lucky in May, but I'll take that. And so it shows that the other lesson that I learned was that there is no roadmap to success, especially in today's world. No one's going to do it for you. The old days of just getting a job and staying there for 40 years are over. You have to find your own path, and there's no gatekeepers. I was at a panel just a couple of weeks ago, and there were some older journalist types that were lamenting to the young people, oh, there's no roadmap anymore. You used to be able to get a job at a magazine or radio station, but those were gatekeepers, and it was hard to get those kinds of jobs. You can discover on your own timeline what you want to do and build your own audience. And that's what I did, because one of the things about my situation is I'm the only radio color analyst and TV color analyst in the entire league in all of American sports that's not a former player or coach. I take pride in that. Usually people like me are play-by-play people. I blaze my own trail. A lot of times when new people come up and they turn on the TV and they see that guy in the middle between a former player, Devin Harris, and the host, Dana Larson, they go, who's that guy? Well, I have to work harder to get their approval and to earn their respect. And I put in the work, I put in the relationship building, and okay. All right. You guys hear me better? I'll start over. So nothing really happened in Mavs world. But I have to earn my keep with everybody who's out there every single day because we always have new viewers. And as Mark mentioned, I did win an Emmy Award. I won an Emmy Award last year for Best Studio Analyst. And I take pride in that. And it was the first time any Mavericks ever won that award. And so that is something that I point as a point of pride on the TV side and what I do on the radio side. And I had to build that career. I had to forge that. And I'm in every discipline. I have a podcast, I have Write, I do TV, and I do radio. And the reason I do all four is I want to reach different audiences with everything that I do. No one under the age of 35 ever comes up to me and says, I really enjoy what you do on TV. They always say, I enjoy watching you on the podcast. And nobody over the age of 40 ever says, I love your podcast. There's different audiences. There's old and young, and I reach different ones with these things. Hardcore fans see my writing on D Magazine, which you should all check out. It's really good. And then the radio is people in their cars mainly that want to hear what's going on because they can't be by a TV. I purposefully do that to reach different audiences and different approaches because the media world is so fragmented now. We learned even in the last election that young men are consuming podcasts and they're consuming them to a great degree. And so even as a league, Adam Silver just last week said the NBA is a highlights-based league. And that's an issue because highlights don't pay rights fees. Amazon and Peacock and ESPN pay rights fees. And if those younger demos aren't watching games, and oh, by the way, they aren't, then we have to reach them where they are through podcasts like mine and through other ways of digital content. It's a big shift in media right now that's happening. We have to meet people where they are. We can't just tell them to go to the old ways of doing things. So there's no roadmap, and those people that are able to look at that and see ahead to what's going on, just like this 30 years ago, are going to be the ones who win that. So, the podcast was something that I just started during the pandemic with my co-host, Mark Followell, who's the play-by-play guy. And we're really proud of the work we do in that. And I'm proud of the writing that I did. I talked about last time when I was here, when my favorite article is the one that I wrote when I danced with the Mavs Maniacs and unfortunately decided to show my skinny fat man belly in front of 20,000 people. But it was a great experience. And so, knowing that there's no roadmap was a good lesson for me. Also, something I learned from Mark Cuban, you follow the trend lines, not the headlines. The headlines can be really bad in a lot of ways, but what are the trend lines? Where are things going? When I approach how I promote what I do, I'm not Gen Z, I'm not Alpha, I'm not going on TikTok and doing dances and trying different ways of getting my word out. But what is it that I can do, and how can I use the younger people, and how can we as an organization use those people to reach that younger demo that we want to get to? How can I see beyond what's happening today to see where the trends are and get on board with that? And it's a way for me to see through the future that today's not tomorrow and get through that vision. I'm always curious, I'm always looking and learning, I'm always trying to see what counterparts are doing that I can help in the media world, where AI can take me and help me in that aspect of reaching people, how to target certain things for certain audiences. It's really an important aspect of what I do, and that helps me in the vision of what I'm doing. Another thing I learned is I did stand-up comedy and improv comedy for many, many years. That taught me a lot of lessons in what I do today and how I handle the Lucas situation. The first rule of improv is yes and. If somebody says something, you say yes, and you tag on to that. And I mentioned this to Mark before, but the very first game I ever called was January of 2021 on the radio. I filled in because the analyst who had COVID, and they called me at 4 p.m. They said, can you do the game? Never called a game before in my life. Called this game. In the very first quarter, Joel Embiid dunks the ball so hard that he breaks the backboard. So 44-minute delay. We don't know that at the time. We're just like, I don't know what to do. I'm looking at my partner. He's done this for 20 years. He doesn't know what to do. We just start talking. We have a sports talk show for 44 minutes, no commercials. I'm kind of keep waiting for a break. Nothing happens. We just go on and on. We finish the game. He turns to me right then. He says, that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I don't know what the future holds for you, but you're a permanent fill-in whenever he's sick or can't make it. And I did that, and I got the full-time job 2 years ago. And I called the finals game in Boston, which was an honor. And I feel passionate about what I do. Stand-up comedy helped me find my voice. I'm authentic when I'm out there, and I'll talk about how that really helped me. But the only person I can be is myself. So remember that phone at 6 a.m.? I told you I'd get back to that. I decided to do 3 interviews, Channel 4, Channel 8, and Sirius XM, which gave me a national platform. And I realized that the fans were revolting, literally. I was in Cleveland. I wasn't there on the ground, but I could see what was going on here on the ground. And every interview, the first thing I said was, we ask for your emotions, and you're showing your emotions. And that's okay. All good. Go do that. I understand it. But I was in a position, I work for the team. I like my job. But I have to understand and respect the fans, and I can't take them for granted. And they're in pain, and they hurt. And I can't be a shill and just have them turn on me. And so I was just me. I was processing the raw emotions that I dealt with, and then trying to push what I think the idea was behind what the Mavericks were thinking and going forward. And oh, by the way, I had to call a game at 2 p.m. that day in Cleveland, that we were down by 50 in the first half. That ain't fun. But I got through it because of the lessons that I learned. I was authentic. These people feel they know me. People come up all the time, hey, Damaris, and they just start talking like we're old friends. And I like that. It's great because there's an intimacy to what I do, and I want to be relatable. But I wanted to help them process what happened because that's part of my role. So I used all the skills that I learned, knowing today isn't tomorrow, being prepared, using my skills, and recognizing the opportunity. Remember, that's what luck is. Following the trend lines, not the headlines, and improvising and using my own voice to get through that day, the coming weeks. Oh, by the way, we had to film our hour-long podcast that night, which I feel is the best podcast we've ever done. And then the Lakers came to town. And I was doing TV and radio. So I was doing pregame on TV, postgame on TV, and I was calling the game on radio. It was on air from 6 to 11 nonstop. And it's the proudest work I've ever done because all I did was shower Luka with praise. I love Luka. I knew him personally. He was a great guy. But I was going to cheer for the Mavericks and cheer for Luka. And that's the approach that I took for that day. I was feeling everything all the fans were feeling in terms of the raw emotions that were happening. But I got through that, and I'm proud of stepping up to that and being able to handle that as a broadcaster because there's one last thing, and I will talk about the Mavs here, but listen, as was mentioned here, we live in a very divided world. On a daily basis, things are tearing us apart. Sports is one of the few things that can bring us together as people. It's one of the few things where 20,000 people as one can cheer for the same things. We lost a little bit of that, but I think we're going to get a lot of that back. And I feel proud and honored to be a soundtrack to some of that and help people take 2 hours out of their life and have fun, be entertained, and enjoy things and come together as a community. When we won the title in 2011, we were all friends. We were all 250,000 of us in downtown Dallas cheering for the Mavs. There'll be 12,000 in Dickies Arena cheering for the Mavs together. And I think that's what the power of sports can be. And I'm really honored and proud, and especially as we know with the crisis for young men now, they love sports, and that's a huge way for them to feel connected. So let's talk Mavs real quick, and then I'll take some questions. Cooper Flagg's a stud. He is an absolute baller. He's smart. Tell him something once, he'll come back and know it. You want to know the blueprint of what Jason Kidd's going to do with Cooper Flagg, and I wrote about this in D Magazine in July. Look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. When Giannis came here, he didn't even know how to dribble the ball really well. He was just a big guy. Giannis is going to be the point guard for Milwaukee this year. Why? Because Jason Kidd, when he was coaching Milwaukee, taught him how to handle the ball. Cooper Flagg, if you watch the first 2 games in Summer League, put the ball in his hands. First game, not very good at it. Second game, much better at it. Is he going to be the point guard on his team? No, he's not going to be the point guard. But is he going to learn to handle the ball a lot more than he did at Duke? And will that round out what he can be as a player? Yes, absolutely it will. Give this guy a chance. He's going to be somebody you're going to fall in love with very, very quickly, including on October 6th right here at Dickies Arena. No team is perfect. This team doesn't have a lot of shooting around it. But if you look at Oklahoma City shot 33% during the playoffs when they won the title last year. Is that good? No, it was 13th out of 16 teams that were in the playoffs. They didn't shoot the ball very well. Indiana, 8th out of 16 teams in the playoffs in defense, not great. New York went to the conference finals in the East. They basically played 6 players, not very deep. Everybody in an era of the hard cap, which essentially is what we have, has to make sacrifices. The super team era is gone, doesn't exist anymore. You have to make certain decisions on how you want to build your team, and that's what the Mavericks have done. And they play with defense. They're going to play with 2 bigs. This is becoming a 2-big league where you want more size, not just pace and space, but they are going to play fast. And I think people are going to enjoy what they see from this team. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun. And when Kyrie gets back, it's going to be something really exciting to watch. I just want to share that with people. Check out my podcast on the Mavericks YouTube channel. Take that with you. I'm on 97.1 The Eagle for every game. I'll be on Channel 29 and Mavs TV calling about 20 games for TV, and of course D Magazine for everything that you want to read. And I think I have time for some questions. And I know there are some. Come on. Yes, sir. Super team era is basically 3 max players playing $50 million. So, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. Can't afford that anymore. So you just saw Boston. They won the title, beat us a year and a half ago. They broke up their team this year because the costs were so prohibitive to keep that team together because there were so many high-priced players. You just can't do that anymore because the caps are prohibitive. You literally can't spend any more, and they put in certain team building restrictions into what you do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to a little get together with Jason Kidd tomorrow to celebrate his induction in the Hall of Fame again for the Redeem Team. The Redeem Team was the 2008 Olympic team that won the gold medal after we had lost the gold in 2004. Remember the Dream Team of '92? And then suddenly players just stopped kind of showing up. 2008, the Redeem Team, they were like, we're going to bring everybody back, get the young guns, bring the band back together. What was the unintended consequence of that? Well, Bosh, Wade, and LeBron looked at each other and said, we like playing together. We didn't really know each other that well. 2 years later, they joined up in Miami. That started the super team era. It's kind of ironic that that was the launching point. But because of now some of these cost restrictions, you can basically see like 2 good players like Kyrie and AD, and because Cooper's cheaper, you can have him for now. But there's going to be a day where it's Cooper's team, and those players aren't going to be there anymore.
I think one of the things that makes it harder today for a fan is all of the player movement going on. It's you get really connected to some player, and then they're gone to another team. What do you do to try and create that connection between the player and the fan, especially with newer players coming?
Yeah, I believe that our medium is a storytelling medium. I started the analytics group. I started the first analytics group in the NBA. But hardcore fans get into the numbers, and I do some of that. But you have to tell stories. You have to talk about who these players are as people. One of the reasons Dirk was so... I was just with Dirk here in Fort Worth last night for an event. He's still beloved after all these years, and I'm fortunate to know him well. And I said this on the first time I went viral was when I cried on the air on his jersey retirement, because he brought my brother and I closer together. He really did, by the way he played. My brother and I went through a phase where we didn't really talk much, but we went to games together, and we watched him play together. And he brought us together by how he played and who he was. And it's that kind of attachment that people feel. And it was that kind of attachment you saw when Luka got traded, because kids and fans and adults saw that, and they meant a lot to them. And it's my job to tell their stories. It's going to be my job to tell Cooper's story. But he's an 18-year-old kid, and he'll get there. He's going to turn 19 in 4 days before Christmas. But that's part of what this sport is. Yeah. Sorry about all that. Jeez.
So, the 2 players, one current Maverick and a past Maverick, assuming they're not the same, highest basketball IQ.
Highest basketball IQ, former Maverick, current Maverick. Steve Nash, former Maverick, brilliant, knew everything that was going on a step before it did. Jason Kidd as well. And then current Maverick, look, Kyrie's brilliant. Again, I've talked to a lot of people really close to Cooper Flagg, and they say this basketball IQ is off the charts. I wrote an article in D about, I interviewed his 9th grade coach from Maine, And he talked about this play that he did as a 14-year-old that was just amazing and something in his 25-year coaching career he'd never seen before. I actually went on YouTube, found it, clipped, there's a link to it in my article. This guy is something special. Yes, sir.
So who do you think, besides Cooper Flag, is going to be the breakout player that people didn't think about this year?
Breakout player, Brandon Williams, a young guard, really fast, tight. You know, we gotta have some ball handling until Kyrie gets back. He's a really nice young player. You know, we have a really deep team, but he's going to get some opportunities, and he plays with a lot of pace. Yes, sir.
Talk about Caitlin and the WNBA. Is that bringing more women to watch the Mavericks?
It's bringing more everybody. I know Bill Cameron, who owns the Wings, and I sat front row with him at the AAC the first time she came in, didn't play, sold out. And he's like, this is amazing. You know, they're getting 5,000 people a game in Arlington, and there's 20,000 at the AAC because of Caitlin Clark. And I feel that league should embrace her even more than they do. But she is absolutely huge for that league and for basketball in general, because I feel very strongly we can't reach out to basketball fans. We have to reach out. The people that love the Mavericks and love sports are going to find us. We have to reach out to the people that like sports. We're an entertainment product. That's something Mark Cuban always taught me. We're an entertainment product. You come to a game, you're not sitting at home watching Netflix. You're not taking the kids somewhere. People aren't going to remember how many rebounds somebody had. They're going to remember the experience they had and the fun that they had. And she's bringing that aspect of making it more aware for a larger audience. Yes, sir. I think Houston's got a really good team. Of course, the Mavericks, but I'm saying other than the Mavericks, Houston's got a really good team. And look, if Luka stays in shape, and I have no reason to think he won't, he's going to win the MVP. I don't know how the Lakers are going to do as a team, but he's a baller. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
You know, one of the things I enjoy about your style is it feels like a lot of times you're sitting there right on the couch next to me as we're watching a game. Was there any person that you maybe looked up to or kind of taught you your unique style?
Thank you. And about my style and feeling like I'm next to you, I try to do that because you notice that when I'm on TV, I never look at the camera. I look at the camera coming in and out of a break, and then I'm talking to each other. I want you to feel like you're at the bar next to me and we're having a conversation. That's what it should be. That is what makes you relatable and draws you in. I learned it basically by being somebody who listened to the ticket all the time and thinking that those guys were my friends, and having that intimacy and that knowledge of what's going on. I feel it's very important, and I appreciate you saying that, to, you know, less robotic, less stiff, and more relatable. And more, you know, when we were losing games by 30 points in Houston in March, I started telling jokes and talking about my family's restaurant in Houston. I'm not talking about this bum game, right? Let's have fun and let's enjoy it. Sometimes my partner, he's very like, I'm going to call every aspect of it, but I've loosened him up a little bit. So that's my time. That's how you spell my name. You can always reach me on LinkedIn if you have any groups you want me to speak to or anything like that. I'm happy to chat further.
Thank you very much, Brian. It's a tradition of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth to make a contribution in your honor to the Polio Plus Fund, which has existed over 35 years. And during that time, thanks to Rotarians and others, the incidence of polio has gone down by 99.99%.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for being here, and go Mavs.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have a brief reminder as we close today. Don't forget to head out to the Tarrant Regional Water District Trash Bash tomorrow morning. And next week, what's new at the zoo? Fort Worth Zoo's Avery Elander and Ash Adams will be here to present our program. Until then, remember the four-way test. Have a peaceful weekend. Our meeting is adjourned.